Welcome to SceneTV. I'm Marcus. We are back at the Champagne Bar at the Stag Hotel on Rundle Street in the city, where we're catching up with Adelaide's iconic performer, Vonni. Vonni, welcome to SceneTV.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
Good to see you, honey. What do you think of our array of liqueur back there?
I'm loving the Moët Chandon and the...
I know. I think we could stay here all afternoon. Vonni, look, you've been performing for a while now. How long's it been, can we say?
40 years. It was 40 years back in September, and I started off in Adelaide in actually a strip club, which is in Highley Street. It's still there, but it's no longer a strip club. It used to be called La Belle, and it was the first strip club in Adelaide, and now it's called Jive, and it's a live band venue.
Do you still enjoy performing as much as you did back in the early days?
I love it. I really, really love it. And I've done all sorts of stuff, from working as a stripper to working in the world famous, especially Australian famous lay girls in King's Cross. Working with Carlotta, that was amazing. And now I'm back in Adelaide. 20 years I've been back.
Let's go back to the Carlotta days, the lay girl period. Obviously that was in Sydney's King Cross, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I can imagine the stories from back then. Anything crazy that comes to mind right now?
We used to do this song called Bad Habits that was by Billy Field, and it was our male dancers. He was the main character in it, and we were all dressed up in gym outfits, and he was actually an acrobat, and so he'd do acrobats all around the place. And the bad habits were these different things, like we had little bottles of scotch and amyl and a pretend joint and little things, and they were bad habits. But one day Carlotta changed them all around to real things. And so we were a bit drunk and on real amyl and drinking real scotch and smoking a real joint live on stage, and not a good look.
It's so funny though, the bad habits from those days are not bad habits considered at all anymore, are they? Considering what's going on these days.
Yeah, it's terrible. Actually, that's actually a terrible thing that's happening these days, is the ice epidemic absolutely going through the roof. And I see so many people on it that are normally beautiful, beautiful people, and they get addicted to this stuff and it destroys their life. And I would just say to anybody out there who's ever contemplating doing it or ever offered it, don't do it.
Good advice, Vonni. Obviously, you see many kids coming onto the scene. They will look to you like the agony aunt sometimes, don't they? What's some of the good advice that you give some of these kids that are struggling growing up in this crazy world we live in?
Well, especially with transgender male or female people that come to me, they want advice on how I live my life. Well, I can only advise them on what I went through. I can't actually advise them on things that they should do because I'm not in the same situation as they were. So all I can advise them to do is go and see their doctor. There are professional people out there who they can talk to, and so I can tell them about experiences that I had, but I can't tell them what I think they should do.
And some of these kids that are growing up in the performing arena on the stage, is it good seeing these kids coming up, showcasing all their talents?
Some of them are amazing. Some of them start off amazing, and you can see they've got potential. Some of them, you can see that doesn't matter how long they perform, they're not going to be any good, but they enjoy doing it, and so why stop them?
Yeah, exactly. And you see them come, you see them go. Like you say, the good ones are still around and, doing some amazing stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, and the thing is to enjoy it. It's just got to be a hobby, and it's always very important to have another job. Don't just think that you're going to survive on doing performing and drag, because you won't. It's best to just have it as a hobby and it not be your whole life, because that's when you go down the wrong roads.
Yes. You've been playing lots of the pubs, lots of the clubs around Adelaide for your duration back in Adelaide. What's some of your favourites that you've been playing at?
I think where I am now, I'm back where I started. When I came back to Adelaide in 1996, I started working at the Edinburgh Castle Hotel on Curry Street and started doing shows shortly after. That pub has since closed down, opened, closed down, and this is my third time in that pub, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It's not a gay venue, it's just a cabaret venue, and all sorts of things go on in there, and I'm loving it. I'm really loving it that they've given me Sundays.
Yeah. Back to your roots.
Back to my roots.
Back to the roots. So to speak.
Literally.
So what are some of your greatest achievements thus far?
I really enjoyed touring Australia. When I first joined the Melbourne touring show of Lay Girls, that was amazing and taught me a lot. Then when I left there and started working at King's Cross Lay Girls, that was unbelievable, a big achievement. That was thanks to Carlotta, gave me the job there. But when I left there, I started working for an agent who sent me all around Australia and overseas, working as a solo artist and also hosting shows. And that was, I loved it. I think the biggest thing though, I'm a massive Eurovision fan, as I think you are too.
I am.
And last year I got the opportunity to be part of a feast show that was called Art of Drag. And that was a night with Conchita, who was the 2014 Eurovision winner. What a lovely person. And that was a dream come true for me, to host a night with her.
Of course, you also had your own show for the Feast Festival last year, didn't you, with Peter Gers, which was more of an interview format?
Yeah, it was just a talk about my life, very informal, an interview style thing, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. We had good turnout for it. We just did 2 shows and it was a good turnout, and I'm hoping to do it again for maybe Adelaide Cabaret or something like that.
Yeah, massive costumes,
Yeah,
of course, as Vonni does. Speaking of costumes, I believe there's a new show commencing soon at the museum called Hog Girl, the costumes of an iconic Adelaide diva. Who would that be, do you think?
Ta-da! Exhibit A!
Tell us about that. How did you get involved?
I have this wonderful friend called Ross Prosser, who happens to be a Doctorate of English Literature at Adelaide Uni, and she's also helping me write my book. And she knew people at the museum, and each year they have this, in May, they have this thing on South Australian history. And my friend Ross thought it might be good to put a thing in about showgirls, the history of showgirls in South Australia, and then have an exhibition of my costumes starting from the 70s when I started performing. Yep. And she put it forward to the museum and they said yes. And so it's on the 28th and 29th of May, which is a Saturday and a Sunday, from 1 o'clock till 5. And on the Saturday, from 1:30 till 2:30, there's actually a discussion where Ross, she will sort of interview me and ask me different things about my life, and all my costumes will be on display. And also the lady that made all my costumes, Julian Dean, she'll also be there.
So where do people catch you? If they want to come and see one of your shows, where's the best place?
Every single Sunday I'm at the Edinburgh Castle Hotel on Curry Street, and we're just in the showroom bar there. They have a really camp bingo thing first, and then my show is after it. But it's not a gay night. It's for anybody that wants to come along.
Vonni, we have just created a new part of our interview process. It's a little bit cute and quirky. What actually happens is, you give a question and then we pass that question on to the next person we talk to. The lady just before you, which was Amanda Grace Nash, has just asked you, what is the most crazy, spontaneous thing you've ever done?
Actually, that's a very easy question. The most spontaneous thing I ever did was I had gone to Melbourne for a weekend, staying in a hotel, and it had a glass elevator in the lobby. And coming home at 4 o'clock in the morning, having drank lots of champagne, stopped the elevator halfway up, and I actually had sex in the elevator. With a chap who, and this is only a few years ago, with a chap who was celebrating his 21st birthday.
I'm not sure if Mandy was going to be expecting that answer, but I love it. We love to shock, right? What question can you pose for our next person? Now, we don't know who this person's going to be. It could be, we could be interviewing our local barista. We could be interviewing the local who knows? The Lord Mayor, doesn't even matter. What question would you like to pose?
Well, let's keep my same theme as what my answer was and say, what is the most interesting place you have ever had sex in or would like to?
Stay tuned, everybody, for that one. Vonni, you're colourful, you're so inspirational, you're an amazing person. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
And we look forward to seeing you again very soon for more SceneTV.